Okay, I think we can get started. Hello, welcome. My name is Chris Moja, and I'm going to be the presenter for this webinar slash training module. It's called CALPADS End of Year for Beginners. And this is an attempt by me to reduce what is probably 4 or 5 hours of official training into about a 15-minute little overview. So let's see if I succeed. Um, I am currently the founder of schooltechnologyleadership.com, which is a website that I'm building out specifically to help folks in this field, CalPads coordinators, teachers on special assignment, CASP coordinators, systems integrators, anybody who's dealing with school data and accountability stuff. I've been doing this for a number of years and love it. I originally started out as an elementary school teacher, so I have a little bit of a quirky way of presenting things, but it's because I spent most of my life in front of third graders. But now I'm doing CalPads and systems integration and a whole bunch of other nifty things. Do operate the schooltechnologyleadership.com website, so if you haven't had a chance to visit that, please do so. We now have over 250 registered members. I just added a Facebook-like component where you can share out resources to a group of friends that you select, etc. So it's growing, it's getting better, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Really want to talk about the three certification windows: Fall 1, Fall 2, and End of Year. This is an overview of the End of Year, but to take an even bigger step back in 30,000 foot view level, there's really three primary windows in which data is submitted to CalPAD. So you have the Fall 1, which typically ends around December 15th. Fall 2 ends around February 15th. And then the end of year stuff, which is really sort of everything else that wasn't covered, student or staff data, including suspensions, expulsions, attendance data, and some updates. Some of this stuff is new this year as well, so it's a little bit dynamic, but we're going to try to go ahead and focus on end of year stuff and what that looks like. So end of year is different, radically different actually, from the Fall 1 and Fall 2 submissions in two ways. One, any student that's enrolled at the school at any point during the year is likely going to be counted towards the end of year data requirements. So even if a student showed up for one day, that attendance record for that one day is technically going to be part of the student absence attendance file that gets uploaded. Another thing that marks a big difference between Fall 1 and Fall 2 is the fact that you can update and post end of year data as it becomes available. So when semester 1 rolls around and you have definitive information on who has completed coursework for semester 1, you can go ahead and post that. Even if you're posting that in February or March timeframe, it really doesn't matter. The certification window won't open up until May 15th, but you can actually keep updating discipline, suspensions, expulsions, and other things throughout the year, and it's probably a really good idea to do that. So again, unlike Fall 1 and Fall 2 that have a single census date, first Wednesday of October, that they sort of key off of, end of year looks at the entire year, and that makes it a little bit more complex. You'll remember that every time we talk about uploading files, it's really a two-step process. So you're really going into your student information system, whether it's Aries or PowerSchool or Synergy, Illuminate, there's several others. You're downloading specific files based on accurate information that's already in your student information system, we hope. You're taking that file and you're uploading it to CalPads. And then, of course, there's the usual processing it, making sure there's no errors, and actually posting the information so it gets saved within the CalPads system. Real quick fall one review. I'm not going to spend time on this. Just you've got those 4 different files. You've got to upload them in a specific order, and then you have to go in and go ahead and certify fall one, level one, and level two. Yes, it's a lot of work, but hopefully that process was one that you conquered early on in the school year, and that usually has to get done before everybody goes on winter vacation. Fall two, very similar, 4 sets of files, all schools, staff demographics, staff assignments, and then even the course and section information about which student is enrolled in which class. And then finally the fall two certification, where you make sure there's no errors, no conflicts, and you go ahead and finalize that data. Now that brings us to the end of year window. So an end of year is actually, again, a little bit more complex because it's dealing with data from throughout the year, as well as it segregates schools into all schools K-12 versus middle and high schools that have some additional requirements. So let's just start with the 3 files that are going to be required for all schools. So if you remember from fall one, we uploaded the student program files. We're going to be updating that and adding any new program enrollments from students who may have entered your school after the census date, or who may have been identified as having a 504 plan or something like that after census date. So it's just a good way for the state to understand the updates that have occurred since the first Wednesday in October. End of year also introduces 2 new files, the SDIS, student discipline, which student discipline in this case really means expulsions and suspensions. They're not talking about Johnny chewing bubblegum and being slightly defiant. They're talking about ed code reasons for actually suspending or expelling a student based upon them doing some serious infraction, like bringing a weapon on campus, or assault, or sexual harassment, or something of that nature, and that all gets documented. The third file is also new in the 2017 cycle here, and that's the student absentee file, which is basically recording every day that a student was present in the summary of that data, every day that they were absent with an excuse, and every day they were absent without an excuse, as well as every day that they were suspended or or even expelled. So it's best to probably, good data practice, get your discipline information in the system first, get that solidified and confirmed before you start downloading the absentee information and uploading that to CALPADS, because it does make a difference. If you're a elementary school and you've done this work and everything is fine, you could probably certify. There's very few exceptions to this, but if you're in elementary school, you can probably certify for your end of year at this point, because you don't have a lot of the data points that are coming next. So if you're in a middle school or a high school, or in some cases in elementary that has the specific courses broken out, but for most of our middle and high school students, we're also going to update the staff demographics, because you may have had a new teacher come on board, and we want to make sure that that teacher's ID number is tied to the courses and the student records. And you're also going to be uploading the course section completion and student course record completion files. This means not just who's enrolled in the courses as of census day, but who actually got a final grade for that course, and that information can be submitted, like I mentioned before, even after semester 1 is over. You can start uploading that semester 1 data, and then of course at the end of the year, when semester 2 grades are finally posted, the course completion data will reflect that. And then finally, for the high schools out there that have a career technical ed program, you're going to also be uploading a program that identifies the kids' pathways that they're participating in. So once you get all 7 files updated, again, an update for student programs, the 2 new end of year files, and then this staff and course information for the high schools. Once all that's uploaded, you can go ahead and certify. Again, heads up, you're not uploading the CRSE file, which is the course section enrollment file. You're uploading the course section completion file. Kids who have actually completed the program and the course and get a final grade in there. It's an important distinction. When you go to CalPADS, you'll see two different areas. One, course section completion, and the other one, course section enrollment, or student course section completion and student course section enrollment. So make sure for end of year, you're using the completion ones. It's a subtle difference, and trust me, I wasted a lot of hours not understanding that piece of it. So, okay, we're 10 slides in. Time for checking for understanding. If I really am a good elementary school teacher, I'll start checking for understanding, right? So, question number 1, what are the 3 main CalPADS reporting cycles or windows throughout the year? What are they called? I should have music at this point, but I don't. Answer, Fall 1, Fall 2, and End of Year. Question number 2, true or false? Certifying your data in CalPADS involves downloading files from your SIS and uploading them to the CalPADS system in a particular order, validating and posting that information, and certifying level 1 and 2. Survey says true. So no tricks here, just going through some basics. Question number 3, put the following end of year files in the correct upload order. Ooh, okay, staff demographics, student program, course completion, what is that, stats, what is that, attendance? It's probably wrong. SCTE, the career technical stuff. Correct order is, and these are just 5 of the 7 files, student programs, student attendance or absence information, staff demographics, the course information, and the career technical education. That's the recommended upload order. Again, don't take my word for it. Watch the full-blown hour-and-a-half long video series that I did to get the full, complete picture and all the technical data that goes behind that. But for us, for right now, there we go. How is this data used? For the state data, once the end of year information is in, the state of California puts it in 2 big places. One is called DataQuest, which is a website that the CDE operates that has a lot of this information in it. A second area is the new California School Dashboard, another web interface, but different than DataQuest. And all this information about who's, how many EL students you have, how many free reduced lunch, how many transitional kindergartners you have, as well as all these chronic absences, the discipline stuff, and even how many students have completed a career pathway. All this is captured by CalPADS and then pushed into these other web interfaces for public consumption in an anonymized fashion. So you don't get the student level data, but you can drill down to the school-wide data. Here's an example from DataQuest of a discipline report. So again, it's not focusing on who's chewing gum or being defiant. It's focusing on weapons possession, illicit drug use, sexual harassment, violent incidences, etc. This information gets captured through CalPADS end of year and posted to the DataQuest website. Similarly, the new dashboard, nicer design in some ways, easier to read, I think. They did a real good job on this piece. That information gets posted to that website as well. There's a third website too. It's not mentioned directly in the CalPADS documentation, but if you don't know about it, you should. It's the EdData website, and that has samples of free and reduced lunch, demographics, average class size, even test score data for AP tests, ACT tests, an SAT test, which I don't think you find on any other state website source. So between the dashboard, DataQuest, and EdData, you should be able to find where most of this information that's captured through CalPADS End of Year is posted for public consumption. The feds also use this data in a number of different ways, and I'm not going to read through each one of these, but legacy stuff from NCLB, and then the new ESSA information. A lot of the data for if the end of year data goes back into the feds for their reporting, and that's one of the original reasons I think the CalPADS existed, was to help with the federal reporting stuff. I could be wrong on that, but I'm probably not. Let's check for more understanding. Question number 1, where does CalPADS end of year data get posted for public consumption? Oh, we just talked about this, Chris. DataQuest, the dashboard website, and the EdData websites. Question 2, true or false? The new California dashboard reports SAT scores. False. The dashboard does not talk about SAT scores. That information is on the EdData website. But the dashboard will talk about smarter balance test results, as well as, I think, 8 or 9 other different metrics. So a little bit of a trick question there. Had to throw that in. And finally, when does the end of year window close? This year it closes on July 30th. So mark your calendars and get busy. Again, if you haven't had a chance to look at the School Technology Leadership website, I created an entire CalPADS solution area where we looked at, in fact, let's take a look at that right now. Looked at a number of different things to try to support our CalPADS folks. So here's a look at that right now, and I've logged in as myself, and I've got a little sort of a Facebook page here where you earn badges for unlocking different things and reading different things. I've got CalPADS links, SBAC links over here in the quick links area. I've also got an entire CalPADS solution where I've got the CalPADS codes that you can look up very quickly. And we'll talk about career technical path stuff later, but I tried to summarize, make it a little bit easier than having to access the Excel document that CalPADS puts out. For certification errors, and I added a bunch of the new STAS attendance errors. You can click on each error and it attempts to explain it. I use the official language from CDE and the CalPADS folks. I gave it a little, kind of have fun with it, so I gave it a little headache factor here, depending on how difficult it is. And then the goal here is eventually to have specific Aries, PowerSchool, Illuminate, screenshots and suggestions for how to resolve each of those errors. You can also leave a comment if you have questions or have another solution for that particular thing. We've even got the countdown, so as of today there's 58 more days before we have to cert for CalPADS end of year. Website also lists the various systems. I have system pages for all of the known enterprise systems that we're using in the state. So if you're interested in what some other products are that other SIS systems, etc. If it's not listed on my site, I'd be surprised because it's fairly comprehensive now. We've got about 300 products listed in these various categories. So hopefully this will be a value add for folks on that. And finally, there's a download section where you've got CalPADS stuff and all sorts of other code snippets and different things you can download, because unfortunately the CalPADS listserv, you can't post files to that. So one of the main reasons why I started this whole site is I wanted some place for us to be able to post stuff like that. So enough of that. Let's go back to the presentation here. So again, back to these 7 files. So here's my fictitious Golden State High School. Golden State High School is going to have to do all 7 of these files because they're 9 through 12. So they're going to start with the SPRG file. And really, this is looking at any new students that have enrolled since census date. You get a brand new kid and they're already free and reduced lunch because of direct cert. So you can go ahead and create a program record for them. And because that wasn't uploaded during the fall 1 or fall 2 processes, that this is the time to update that information. Okay. They're also going to have to do the second file, the discipline file. Again, how many students were expelled and for what reasons? How many students were suspended and for what reasons? The third file that you download from your SIS and upload to CalPADS is a new file, the STAS, the student absences file. And this is really trying to get at how many chronic truancies do you have at your particular school. So best practice, as we talked about before, try to upload your discipline data before this file, just so it captures all those suspensions and expulsions. Then, of course, the high schools have to do these additional 4 files. We're going to update your staff demographic. And this is really, here's a perfect example. Teacher A takes maternity leave in February and decides to stay out for the rest of the year. So teacher B comes in to sub for that teacher, and it's his or her seed number that's going to be associated with the course when the students actually complete the course. So this is kind of an oddity with this. They don't actually need a staff assignment record. And in fact, the CalPADS folks encourage you not to update the staff assignment records in a batch file because it might upload and override what's already in there. So what's really required is the fact that you get that teacher and their SCID number into the system and make sure it's associated with the courses. Otherwise, these departmental courses will not, you'll get an error trying to upload them because it will say we don't recognize the seed number of the teacher. So again, have to do them in this particular order. And you can't obviously upload some of this information until after the last day of school when final grades have been posted and corrected. And any last minute adjustments, if you start posting this information to CalPADS, you may actually have to go back and use the amendment window to make sure those changes get reflected in the CalPADS system. It's a lot of work, and unfortunately it happens over summer vacation when a lot of people aren't actually paid to work as the CalPADS worker bees, or the folks that have to sign off on as the VIP signatures before you certify level 2 aren't always around and available. So they encourage you to make this a priority for as soon as you can upload this data and the information has been completed, make an effort to do that. And the final file is the career and technical education. I didn't even know this till recently, but there's 15 different industry sectors and over 40 different pathways. And students that complete this pathway information, state wants to know that to obviously to evaluate how effective they are at allocating resources to these different career development courses and to the staff members that train them. So great resource, good poster. If you don't have it yet, I'd strongly suggest printing it out and putting it up in the high school classrooms and stuff for those schools that are involved in CTE courses. Final checking for understanding. Question number 1, where can I go for more training? Well, we've mentioned a number of things. So as always, the official CalPADS training is your best resource for accurate, up-to-date, and comprehensive information. I participate in them regularly, and I strongly encourage you to take the time to do that. Turn your phone off, lock the door, and just focus on those webinars because they're a fantastic resource. Question number 2: what if I don't have what if I have additional questions? Well, you can always contact the CalPADS help desk. So CalPADS-support@cde.ca.gov. They're quick to respond, and if they can't get an answer for you, it's probably because that issue hasn't come up yet, and you're sort of covering new territory. Obviously, this is a complex system, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. So the quicker you get questions posed or potential bugs raised, the better, because it just helps everybody down the road. And final question, when does the end of year amendment window close? We know the certification window closes on July 30th, but when does the end of year amendment window close? What's the final deadline? The answer is very soon. I think it's August 11th, but get cracking, because this is not going to, there's no extensions beyond August 11th, and you do not want to be, trust me, you do not want to be doing this first week of August, making corrections to a system where there may be 1,000 other people hitting the system at the same time. So yeah, there's that. Again, sign up on that listserv and review your student information system documentation. If you're still having headaches with this stuff, visit the website, sign up. We're at 250 members as of today. I'm hoping to get to 500 members before the end of the year, and I think we will. So thank you very much. I hope this gave you a good overview. And again, challenging to do in 20 minutes or less what other folks are taking several hours to do. So again, treat this for what it is, just an overview. Please seek out all the official documentation and participate in the online forums and stuff. Thanks again. Bye.